So here we have a fairly common stick break. The stick's broken down and across and up through the laminates. We're just going to show you how to fix this today. So what we need for this is we've got some glue. We've got Sudol Pro 40p, which is available at shintyworld.com, along with other items you may need to repair shinty sticks. We've got a screwdriver in case we need to get into the brake to get some glue inside there. We've got a spreader as well for spreading the glue, and sometimes use a Stanley blade as well just to get into the really fine parts. A range of G-clamps, it's worth having different sizes. A damp cloth. This glue cures by moisture, reaction to moisture, so it's always a good idea just to damp an area when using this glue, and some towels for cleaning up afterwards, because this glue can get messy. It's probably advised to wear gloves. You certainly don't want to get this stuff on your skin. So a wee tip I do when starting is I get a wee bit of tape. I'm at the bottom of the brake. I'll put a bit of insulating tape so when I open this up the brake won't continue down the laminate. So put a wee bit of tape there. Right, so now we can open up this and have a look inside. I'll maybe wedge a screwdriver in there just to hold the brake open. I'll get our damp cloth as we said, just dampen the area. You don't want it wet, just damp. So we'll get our glue now. And we're just going to squeeze that right into the joint. Put plenty of glue on it. You can never have too much. Right, we'll get the scraper now and we'll just spread that glue about inside there. Got a nice covering all over. Right, so spread it about. Right. So first clamp, first of all you want to try and get the grain of the timber back in line, and the first clamp I would always put is in here so it pulls the stick down and into the curve. Right, it's important that both sides of the are flush. Sometimes if they're not flush, you can use another clamp, a smaller clamp than this maybe, and you realign it. That's looking pretty good there. So what we can do now is we can wipe off any excess glue. Right, now we've got that all lined up, we can put another clamp here at the top. You just want just enough pressure just for this glue starts just to squeeze out. Not too tight because all the glue will come out of the joint. You want to keep some glue in the joint. And we're just going to follow around now with some more clamps. The good thing about wood is it does repair. I've been doing this for 30 years now and I don't think there's a stick I've not been able to fix. It's the beauty of working with wood, and when it's done properly the stick will just be as strong, if not stronger, than it was when it started. So once we've done this, this needs to go in a warm room. The glue needs to stay above room temperature to cure. And we'll leave it for 24 hours and we'll have a look at this again tomorrow. So the glue is now dry. We're going to take the clamps off and clean up the glue and prepare for varnishing the stick. I can't emphasise the importance of repairing a stick as soon as it breaks. If you don't repair it straight away, the stick's only going to get worse. Taping it's no use. It needs to be stripped back down and re-glued and ready to go again. Ideally you would want to have 2 sticks, a spare one at all times. If you look at any player that plays in the Premiership, they have 2 sticks with them all the time for this very reason. So now the clamps are all off. We'll remove the tape and we're going to remove the excess glue. For that we'll need a little chisel. You take the chisel and just carefully remove the glue. After you've done that, we're going to sand it back down. Leave it as sandpaper, sand it all over. If you have a little block plane, you can tidy up the edges with a block plane. And then we're ready for varnishing. I'm just going to go and work on this. So now that the stick has all been sanded, dressed and prepared for varnish, some people might want to put a dowel onto the stick. My advice would be, if you're going to use a dowel, don't put it all the way in. You'd only want to put a dowel into maybe about this depth. If you go right up to the top, what it does actually weakens the wood round about it, because there's no much wood left either side of the dowel, so that becomes a weak spot. So by putting the dowel in there, it will certainly add a bit of strength to the stick. But also what you want is, if this top laminates do break, you want them to break off cleanly. Putting a dowel up there and they end up shattering, all these bits shatter into 1,000 bits, and it's very difficult to repair then. So keep the dowels down. If top laminates do break, let them break cleanly, and then it's just a straightforward fix to glue them back together. What I use for putting the dowels in is a drill like this. It's got a wee stop piece in it. So you drill in up to there and it hits a stop and it stops, and then you just put a bit of glue in there, pop the dowel in. Really all you need is one wee dowel at the top. That's more than enough to give that strength. So we'll go and varnish this now, and we'll pop back in a minute when it's varnished, and we'll talk about putting tape in the stick next. The stick has now been varnished and is dry, now ready for taping. Lots of players tape their sticks different ways. I can show you certainly the way I tape the stick. The tape's not there just for looks. The tape actually does a job as well. If you were to get a microscope and look deep within the timber's made up of lots of different fibres, probably look more like straws. That's what they use to take the water from the bottom of the root up to the top of the tree. So to demonstrate, if you imagine that's the fibres within the wood, once force is exerted in a certain way, they end up breaking like this, and this is what causes the timber to break itself. So what we're looking to do with the tape is we're looking to make a band around certain key points in the stick, which will help contain the wood from splitting itself. As I say, wood's a natural product. It grows, every bit of timber grows differently, so there's not two bits the same. And the best thing we can do is just take a couple of precautions to try and help prolong the life of the stick. There's different fibre tapes available. Again, these are available at shintyworld.com. We've got a 12mm fibre, which is just a string that goes within the tape right round, and they've got a 25mm fibre tape, which is cross-weaved both ways. This tape's not like insulating tape. It doesn't stretch, it doesn't bend, so it's quite difficult to put on. So I use the thinner stuff at the top of the stick, and I use the wove stuff in the shaft of the stick. So certainly the first point I would always put tape on is around the bottom here. This tape's very strong, so you only need to go around maybe one and a half, 2 times. Then I would put insulating tape over the top of it. So this is just to strengthen and hold the fibres of the timber in. Each laminate finishes at a point, so the first laminate finishes there, second, third, and then the fourth one. So I would always try and tape at the top of each laminate finishes, because they come to a very fine point, and that's they're at their thinnest there, you know. So I will go and tape this stick up, and I'll pop back when it's taped. If you feel you're not able to repair a stick in this way, go to your local Shinty club. Every Shinty club should have a stick bearer who should be able to help you fix the stick. We'll pop back in a minute with this taped. So the stick is now taped and ready to do battle again. A couple of points perhaps you should make. Another reason I tape the stick like this as well, because each stick will have a sweet spot where you hit the ball, and by narrowing that area there, you're narrowing the sweet spot. So when you're hitting the ball, you've got a target to hit for, so you're hitting the sweet spot every time. Without the tape there, the target is that area. When you narrow it down, you've got an area this size now, and you should know whether the sweet spot's at the toe of the stick or the middle of the stick. We've put the tape on the top, as we said, from here to the bottom of the last laminate where it comes out. The next one's the middle laminate, which finishes here. For adults, I'll definitely put another one between the middle laminate and the bottom of the toweling. That'll definitely help for adults. For juniors, I wouldn't think you would need it, to be quite honest. Possibly kids as well wouldn't need that. But certainly that's going to help the longevity of the stick. I understand all players tape their sticks differently, and they prefer different colours and even the way they tape it up. So this is only a guide that might help some people. So I hope that helps someone. A few tips there on how to repair your stick and maybe look after your stick. The only other thing I would say is possibly once or twice a year you might want to sand the stick down and recoat it, especially when you're using AstroTurf. It takes all the varnish off, which loses the protection. The varnish is there to protect the wood and protect the glue. So when the varnish is gone, the varnish is no longer doing its job, so it needs recoated maybe once or twice a year. Certainly for storing the stick, the stick is made for outdoor use, so storing it indoor is 2 different environments. Outdoor temperatures, you're wanting maybe between 14 to 16% moisture content in it. indoor timber is probably between 7 to 9% moisture content. So if you're going to store your timber inside in a heated area, it's going to take all the moisture out of it. So when you go outside, it's going to be, one, it's going to be too dry, and then two, it's got to readjust. Wood's always moving at all times, so changing from one environment to another environment is not good for the timber. So to keep the moisture content in it, it's best kept in a cool, dark place. Beside the back door is a good place, and an outside storage area, maybe the shed, or in maybe a dark cupboard. Don't leave it in the back of the car where in the summer where the sun's coming scorching through the back window. That'll just ruin your stick. So storage is important, and maintenance is important also. So the stick now is fully repaired and ready to do battle again. Enjoy your shinty. Cheers.